Last month, Francis Ngannou announced he was leaving the UFC due to basic needs not being met, and received backlash from the fans saying he was just being a diva. In a recent interview covered by MMA Fighting, former middleweight champion Israel Adesanya defends Ngannou's decision and says it was the right move.
Francis made the right call. He's the one that kicked in the door. We've all been behind him. We've been saying this for how long? If you guys go back on the tapes, I've been saying the same thing. I'm not gonna hop on about it, but he's right. It's little things, you know. He's asking for things that should be mandatory. He wasn't asking for, you know, crazy, ridiculous, diva-ish demands, you know. Even something as little as like for the guys fighting on the opening, having the fourth or third cornerman being paid for and their hotels being paid for. That sets them up nicely, and they don't have to fork it out of their 10 and 10 or maybe even 10 to pay for their fourth or third cornerman. You know, little things like that. So he's not being a diva. He's asking for reasonable demands, and I felt like he should have got them. But again, he told me, I said that's not how we do business, but the way we do business has to change, and it will change. He's just the guy to kick in the door.
And one of the reasons for Ngannou's departure was a potential super fight with boxing's heavyweight champion Tyson Fury, a fight which Adesanya believes should include kicks.
You know, you never know what the future holds. Maybe he comes back or something.
I think he'll come back. He's the greatest heavyweight we've ever had. Not even just like in the UFC in history. You know, he left on his own terms with the belt, never lost it. And yeah, he is. So I feel he's gonna do what he has to do in boxing or wherever else, but it's a great hit to the company. I know he'll be back. He'll be back. That's what I'll say.
Dana White would always say, you know, he's working hard on Africa. Would it feel incomplete if it wasn't all of you guys together on that card?
He'll be back.
Thank you.
Just quickly off that, if you could book his next fight against Fury, Wilder, or Joshua, who do you want to see Francis in there with?
I say Fury. They've already kind of had the back and forth. It's already kind of built in there, and the fact that Fury's ready to do it in smaller gloves, I say add kicks. He's a gypsy. He takes chances. Yeah, you can't just keep it. Man, you know, everyone wants to say, you know, we're going to bang this and that, you know, Queensberry rules, but yeah, add some kicks. If you're going to take the gloves away, no takedowns, just add some kicks. And let's see who the real baddest man on the planet is.
Adesanya's next fight will be a rematch with middleweight champion Alex Pereira at UFC 287. On his Instagram channel, Alex posted this clip of himself shadowboxing in the snow. And after the weekend's main event between Makhachev and Volkanovski, Islam's longtime coach Javier Mendez reacts to the fight and the idea of a possible rematch. It was definitely a challenge. Alex, he actually became the challenge. Habib told me that he was gonna be. He felt that Alex was gonna be the toughest challenge for Islam, and that Islam was gonna have to grind it out through the end. That's what he felt, and I said, well, I didn't know, because the way I looked at Islam, he looked fantastic in training. It was a real tough fight. We got pound for pound for a reason. But we beat it from a guy that is the greatest of all time in the featherweight division, and one of the greats of all time. He's gonna be, no doubt. I think it would be great. I think the fans would love it. I think Islam would be down for it also. And obviously, Alex is, because I mean, come on now. He calls himself Alexander the Great, and he lives up to that name. And he's such a gentleman. He's a competitor. He feels he won, but that's the way you're supposed to feel. And he's got the right attitude. And yeah, I think at some point, they probably will do a rematch. When they collide again, it's going to be a different fight, different adversity for both sides. It's not going to be easy for both sides. No way. But let's see what happens. Let's see what's in the cards. I'm sure Yair has got the next calling, and let's see what happens from there. Another big fight planned for this year is a welterweight fight between two lightweight contenders, Michael Chandler and former two-division champion Conor McGregor. On the Weigh In podcast, John McCarthy reveals what Michael Chandler's got to do to beat Conor McGregor.
Chandler is hittable, and Chandler also likes to get into a dogfight. But at a point, though, with Chandler, now everyone knows that I've said he's the dumbest fight IQ fighter in the world. But for this one fight, you think he'll get it together?
No. I would love to think so. Michael has that, for whatever reason, in his mind. It's more important to be exciting than it is to win. And in this fight right here, it's the dumbest idea ever. Because if you get the win, what does that mean? You probably get a second one, which means you can do what Dustin Poirier did when he got the win in the second fight that he and Conor had is, oh, you want me to fight him again? Good. Let's talk about how much we're going to make now. And you put yourself in a position to make great money because Conor brings big money. And if Michael Chandler was smart, he would work on his wrestling. He would just hone it to a fine edge and be able to put pressure and take the blueprint that you saw from Khabib and use that blueprint to beat Conor and get that win. And then you want to be exciting in the rematch, go ahead. I don't care. But you're talking about retirement money.
He needs to get this win. He needs to get this win because that second fight will be more valuable. Way more valuable. What I get nervous about is that if he does win the first fight, is Conor even a draw anymore? I know he'll always be a draw, but is he a draw that's going to draw 1 million, 1.2 million in pay-per-view buys?
Yeah. There's people that hate Conor. There's people that love Conor. All right? There's people that they look at him as he is the best in the sport. Now, is he? We both know no. Okay? But that's what people believe. And so when they see his name up there and there's a fight that they can watch and it's got Conor McGregor, that will make some of those people tune into that fight. He will always be able to draw money unless he does something so, outlandish.
Yes, Johnny has done. He's thrown a fucking truck, a wheel truck through a bus window. I mean, there was that.
Yeah, that's nothing. That's nothing.
But do you agree with Dustin? Because we interviewed Dustin this weekend. He's going to lean more towards Conor because Conor, with the timing, with the boxing, and how hittable Michael Chandler is, he's going to lean more that way.
Yeah, I agree with him. Based upon knowing how Michael fights and what I believe he's going to do, and then what Conor has. I don't, I think Conor has lost a little bit of that speed and timing that he had. You take a look, and Dustin said all the things that I've said before. He's longer than people realize. I've said that. He will sit in a range where his opponent doesn't think that he's within range, and Conor will prove, yes, you are. He's long. He extends well. And he's always in balance as he does it. And his timing is outstanding. And when you talk about having good timing, that makes you fast. You talk about pure speed of hands and things like that. There's a lot of guys that have faster hands, but it's the timing and the control of the distance that Conor has that makes him very difficult. And at one time, look at when he fought Eddie Alvarez, he was at the pinnacle of his ability to control distance and have impeccable timing. You look at what he did in that fight, it was like picture perfect. It was poetry. Can he bring that back? Yeah, he can. The guys that are going to give Conor trouble are guys that step within that range. Guys that, Dustin, a guy that will step within that and bring that fight into that boxing range that Conor now can't control that distance where he's not getting hit. He's going to have to take some to give some. Michael Chandler, as a fighter, when you watch him, he's an explosive fighter, but he lunges in. He takes these big movements and his feet move to get him inside, then to try to get him outside. He doesn't stay inside. He wants to come in, do damage, and bounce out. And that's not a good idea in fighting Conor.